Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome into the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, April 24th, 2015. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm joined by Bucknuts contributor Jonah Booker. J-Book, thank you for your time, my man.
Glad to be here.
You know, just when I'm ready to turn the page on the Braxton Miller saga, thinking that, there's nothing to it, just more smoke continues to emanate, and I don't know what to make of it at this point, J-Book. I keep thinking now he's not going to transfer, but more news continues to come out. Oh, he's been in Alabama, and I keep saying, well, yeah, he's been in Alabama because he's been down there training with Dr. James Andrews' staff. Well, now people are saying, no, he's visited Alabama. He stayed with Trey DePriest, who, of course, is his old buddy growing up in the Springfield area. But, Alabama writers, Alabama fans are starting to think that this is a realistic possibility, more so than just realistic. They're starting to think this might happen. Your take on this, J-Book, did you give much validity to this originally, and what do you think about it right now?
When I first heard it, I thought, it's just another rumor. Same rumors of Braxton was going to Oregon, Braxton was going to Florida State, Braxton was going to South Carolina. But I'll tell you what, this story has really been beaten by Paul Feinbaum in the South. If you listen to his show for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, he's been adamant, very persistent that his sources within the athletic program at Alabama have stated that there is a chance that Braxton Miller could transfer there. Now, they do say there is a small chance, and the caveat with that is, everybody knows Braxton Miller has 2 young children in Columbus. He's still rehabbing. There's really not a clear indication on where that shoulder is at. And at the end of the day, Braxton's not going to be handed a job, even if he transferred to Alabama. Cooper Bateman, Cornwell, the young 5-star freshman, the transfer from Florida State, Coker, they're all going to put up a fight. They're not just going to hand over the job to Braxton Miller, even if he is looking to transfer to Alabama.
Do you think Urban Meyer is doing some type of recruiting job right now? You think he's kind of sitting back, letting it play out, or do you think he's having to kind of re-recruit Braxton Miller as we speak?
I believe, Urban's very much dialed into what's going on. I'm pretty sure him and Braxton are having daily conversation on what the status is. But to me, I think Urban's kind of letting this play out. One thing that really resonated to me is post-game spring comments from Urban is he said that this will be a very detail-oriented quarterback competition, meaning that they're going to chart every single thing that all 3 quarterbacks do. So for him to say that, to me, his expectations are that Miller will be back competing for the quarterback job, because Urban said he wants to know every throw that's made, every throw that's missed, every, big play that happens, so that they want to chart that so that at the end of the day, whoever is the winner, they will be able to reference, say, hey, this is what this guy did when he had to go and talk to the, other 2 quarterback family members and say, this is why, such and such is going to be the starter come opening day.
We have a very interesting thread on the Front Row message board right now. I'll get your take on this. I'll give my take as well. The title is, would Braxton be a pariah with Buckeye fans if he transferred to Alabama? Moray, M-O-R-A-Y, started the thread, and it's very intriguing. He says lots of places he could go, but how would Buckeye Nation feel like if he went to the Crimson Tide? Now, J-Book, it's not Michigan, but this would be like the next worst thing I think that could happen is Braxton could transfer to Alabama, a team that, as you mentioned, they have a lot of guys that are intriguing at the quarterback position with Jake Coker and some of the guy like with Cornwell, the redshirt freshman who might end up being their starter, David Cornwell. But they still don't have a proven guy, and if Braxton's healthy, that could be really, really interesting for them. But I don't think that would sit well with Buckeye fans at all. It's like if he would have went to Oregon or something, and I know they already had, they got the transfer from Eastern Washington, but if Braxton would have transferred to Oregon, I think Buckeye fans would have said, okay. If he would transfer to Michigan, they would have been mad. He's obviously not doing that. And if he transfers to Alabama, I don't see that sitting well with Buckeye fans. I don't see average Joe six-pack Buckeye fans saying, yeah, Braxton, good luck down there in Tuscaloosa.
I agree with you. Ohio State fans were spoiled. We won our cake and needed to. So you're looking at a situation where you have a vast majority of the fan base that say Braxton's not even the quarterback. There's no way he's going to beat out J.T. Barrett, Cordell Jones. But at the same time, Ohio State fans do not want to see him, competing in the SEC with Nick Saban in Alabama. Could you imagine a national championship with Braxton Miller at Alabama versus Cordell Jones at Ohio State? Talk about must-see TV. I mean, to me, Braxton, I would love to see him compete, be at Ohio State. If it doesn't work out, see if he can move to the H-back role. You saw the speed is still there. It's still elite when he raced Ezekiel Elliott in the, spring game. But Ohio State fans, that would not sit well with them to see him competing in the SEC.
Yeah, and I would hate to see that for Braxton's sake. He has a legacy here at Ohio State, and I'm not saying he should just sit around and just not do anything his fifth year if he doesn't think he's going to be the quarterback at Ohio State just so he can say he was always a Buckeye. He's not Justin Zwick. He doesn't want to be just a guy that just plays out his career, and I love Justin Zwick. I don't mean that as a slight to Justin, but Braxton was a two-time Big Ten MVP. But the people are saying, he should just sit around and just stay at Ohio State, and he doesn't want to mess up his legacy. I see what you're saying, but this guy is a prime-time player. He wants to play as a senior. If he's not guaranteed to do that at Ohio State, I can see why he's at least thinking about it. Now, hopefully he sticks around. We still don't know about his health. I'm sure there's people right now listening to the show pulling their hair out. Like, you guys aren't even talking about the fact that we don't even know if he's healthy. Jay Book and I both understand that. We don't know if he's healthy or not. But if he is healthy, I just hope he stays at Ohio State because I don't want long-term this to affect his legacy, Jay Book.
But think about this, Dave. The quarterback, what do they say the biggest thing with quarterbacks is timing and relationship with the offense and the wide receiver. He's going from a spread offense if he were to go to Alabama. He's going from a spread offense to a pro style under Kiffin. Yes, Kiffin made Blake Sims look halfway decent last year, a guy who's being pegged as a running back, in the NFL draft coming up. But that's a totally different offense. Miller would have to come in there in a short amount of time, master the playbook, and then also build, a relationship with the skill guys around him. All the while, a major question mark just lingering over his head is your shoulder healthy enough to deliver a ball? I mean, then at the same time, what type of physical condition will Miller be in? Everybody knows he's blessed with, amazing athleticism and speed, but being injured has also been part of his resume throughout his career. The hits are not going to get any lighter in the SEC West, I'll tell you that. So either way, Miller is looking at a tough situation. If I was him, truthfully, Houston would be the situation that I would seriously look at if I was going to transfer anywhere and go play for Tom Herman in an offense that I already know.
That makes a lot of sense. I was just about to ask you because Braxton, let's say you are Braxton and you're convinced, even though right now you're not 100%, you're coming along well, you're convinced that you're going to be able to play this fall. And you're not convinced you're going to be the starter at Ohio State, though, because of J.T. Barrett, because of Cordell Jones, because of everything that's going on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about transferring to Alabama, having to learn that whole new playbook and being thought of as a savior to Alabama, having to go up against those defenses every week. But a school like Houston, yeah, and your former offensive coordinator, an offense you're familiar with, you're not going to be going up against top defenses. My final question for you was, if you're Braxton and you're convinced you're going to be healthy this fall, are you right now, are you torn? Are you really considering transferring? Let's try to get in the mind of Braxton Miller because nobody really knows right now. Everybody's speculating. I don't even know if Braxton knows, but if you're Braxton Miller, you're convinced that you can play this fall. Are you wanting to stay at Ohio State, do you think? Or you think he's thinking, I better get out so I can definitely be the starter?
I mean, it depends on what his aspirations are. Everybody says he wants to be an NFL quarterback. Will he beat out J.T. Barrett? Will he beat out Cordell Jones? That's a big question. And at the same time, he has family up there, which is also going to play a role into his decision-making. He's graduated, so he's, able to go wherever he wants to, but you would think that he would want to go into a situation that would kind of suit his skill set if you are looking to leave. If it's me, the competitor that I am, I want to stay at Ohio State and compete and show the nation that, hey, I'm a two-time Big Ten, player of the year. I was a Heisman candidate. My shoulder is healthy. I feel like I can be an NFL quarterback, and in this offense with Urban Meyer, with the weapons that they have around the Ohio State wide receiver and running back core right now, I can be a big-time player, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to prove everybody wrong.
That was all things Braxton Miller. Real quick on a lighter note, we learned yesterday Ohio State has at least 4 night games scheduled out of their 12 regular season games. At least a third of them will be at night, and that's just on the ESPN family of networks. Big Ten Network could come out and say that they have a night game for the Buckeyes, so they could have up to 5 next year, maybe 6. But at least right now, at Virginia Tech, as expected, will be a night game. Penn State in Columbus will be a night game. That'll be on October 17th. At Rutgers the following week, October 24th. That'll be a night game. And then Minnesota in Columbus on November 7th. That will be a night game. And again, as I said, there could be another one, maybe 2 more on top of that. J-Book, as promised, when Gene Smith took over, he was a fan of night games. When Urban Meyer took over, he said he was a fan of night games. It's all come together. The days of 1 or 2 night games are over. And this is nothing new. They've played a lot of night games the last few years. I get that. But already 4 scheduled, maybe 5. It's almost like we're getting to the point where like half the games are night games. I kind of like it.
I love it. I hate the noon games. I mean, you get up there, the crowd is halfway asleep. Get there, night games, guys get a couple cold ones in them. They get fired up. You're able to have more recruits visit because they're able to travel after a Friday night lights game. So I love it. Big time stage for a big time program. That's what big time players want to play at. And they get the opportunity to see the Buckeyes under the lights. It's a beautiful thing. The shoe at nighttime is loud, is rowdy. You know, the cameras are shaking. Primetime ESPN, you can't ask for anything better.
Hopefully Braxton Miller will be with the team during those night games and the rest of the games this fall. We hope Braxton Miller will continue his career as a Buckeye. Great stuff out of Jonah Booker. J-Book, you can read his stuff on Bucknuts, of course, every week. He does Outside Columbus. He's all over the Front Row message board, spreading knowledge. J-Book, great stuff as usual, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
All right, well, that is about it here for the Bucknuts Morning 5. I hope everybody has a great day out there. I appreciate you tuning into the show. Have a great day and a great weekend. Take it away, best damn band in the land.